prone to error and complications and misunderstandings and so on. So that's why we use the standard Vedic scriptures as our ontological source. Okay? The source of our ontology is the Vedic scriptures. Bhagavad-gītā, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Śrīla Vedānta-sūtra, like that. And specifically the translations by Śrīla Prabhupāda in the English language. So if you, we calibrate all of our expressions according to those books, that background, that ontology. You see? So if you know that philosophy, then everything should be clear. And of course the problem is that people have misunderstood words about misunderstood words. You know, they'll read a definition like you're talking about your definition of ontology that you read in the dictionary, and you have misunderstood words in the definition. So it's hard for you to reach a clear understanding. Another facet of my definition of an ontology is that it can be encoded in web ontology language, OWL. If it can't be encoded in OWL, then it's not clear enough for use in scientific work. So, in other words, it has to be brought into a normative form, which is the form of an ontological triple. An ontological triple means a subject, an object, and a relationship, or a category, a quality, and an instance. There always has to be three. There's been a long fight, a philosophical fight in India over whether monism or duality is fundamental. I say neither are fundamental. Trinity is fundamental. Three. You have to have all three to have a valid ontological object. Just like a sentence. A sentence has a subject, a verb, and an object. Subject is the person who's acting. The verb is what he's doing. And the object is who or what he's doing it to. You see? You have three things. An active, a passive, and a relationship. Active, passive, and neutralizing force, as Gurdjieff called it. Three modes of material nature. Not two, not four, not seven. Three. Three modes. Active, passive, and neutralizing. Passion, ignorance, and goodness. You see? All these things fit together perfectly. At least from my point of view. Peter's sitting there with little things going around his head, and like, I'm not even going to ask what's going on. I don't want to deal with it right now. But, oops. My mic has gotten messed up here.
Want me to mute it?
Huh? So, we tried to be very clear about all this stuff, but there's still inevitable misunderstandings. And it's not my responsibility to clear those misunderstandings up. It's your responsibility to clear them up. I'm not going to get caught in the trap of Q&A, going back and forth. What does this mean? It means this. Well, I can't understand that. Give me something else. No. It means what it means. Look it up, clear it, get it clear in your mind. You're the student. It's the student's responsibility to clear up his or her misunderstandings. Okay. Why am I going over all this stuff? Well, we've been looking at future predictions, and things are going to get so crazy so fast this fall and winter that I want to have all this stuff recorded and stored in servers all over the internet. I want to make backup sites and mirror sites for all of our information so that it doesn't get lost. Because there's going to be major, major, major problems beginning at the end of October this year. Anybody who's keeping up with the news can see that coming. It doesn't require any special prognostication. So I want to have all the essential teachings all the way up to a very advanced level of devotional service recorded. That means you may not understand what we're talking about now. But in the future, all of this stuff will become very valuable when you reach the stage when you need it. So we want to have that information out there, available and ready. So I'm proposing a couple of things. I'm proposing that we have a regular course, or like a section on consciousness, just like we have on ontology and like that in the website. I'm also suggesting that over time we create some backup servers and some mirror servers. These are relatively cheap, and they should be in widely dispersed locations. Our server now is in LA. Yeah. So we want to have at least 2 backups, like not in coastal cities, and not in the Midwest, and not in the North. Would you believe Fiji? Anyway, we want to have our information distributed instead of all of our eggs stored in one basket where they could easily get lost. So many things. There's a question?
Yes. I guess, please pass me the mic. There were some problems yesterday with echo. Yeah, okay. So, question from David Lugan. What do you think about performing a consciousness experiment where I preemptively go over every past memory while singing the holy name to detach myself from them? Then once detached, direct consciousness back to the sound of the holy name.
Well, we do that anyway. When we're chanting, different memories and thoughts, feelings, sensations, desires, and so on come up, and they steal our attention away from the holy name, and then we have to bring our attention back to the holy name. So if you try to go over by some artificial process, that's not going to cleanse the mind adequately. Like if you try to go sequentially or something like that. Because the mind is not based on a sequential filing system. It's based on a tree system where different thoughts are structured by their contents, especially by their affective contents, their somatic contents, not so much by their subject matter or their verbal content, and definitely not in sequential form by time. So it's better to let the process happen naturally by simply chanting, putting your attention on the holy name, and then when things come up that steal your attention from the holy name, then that's when you get to work on them. By acknowledging them, then bringing your attention back to the holy name. And something else will happen, and then you acknowledge that, and then you bring your attention back to the holy name. That's how it actually works in practice. See, all these things are contained within the process of chanting the holy name. All this stuff we've been talking about. Don't get all tripped out about it and, think that you have to start some other process or something like that. It's the same process. I'm just trying to give a structure for understanding what's going on and how we are cleansing our consciousness while we're chanting. It's happening already. But of course, any process is going to work better if we understand what's going on, how it's working, what's the anatomy. So I told a couple of far-out stories, and now everybody wants to go off and read Secret of the Golden Flower, but I don't recommend that. I don't recommend it. You think you have a hard time understanding our material?